Hi, good morning. Welcome to VYAPT Growth Series, Season 3, Episode 15. In our growth series today, we have with us Mr. Krishna Kabra, India Head in Orange Global Capability Center and Chair of the Leadership Board, Orange India. Krishna has extensive experience in running scalable business operations in the US, Europe, and India. He is passionate about modern farming and agriculture, business transformation, and digital disruption. Join me to welcome Krishna.
Thanks, Pankaj, for your invitation and having me here on this platform. I think you have created an amazing platform to discuss deep dive into business ecosystem, the growth strategies, the sustainable growth. So I'm really looking forward for this conversation.
Thank you so much, Krishna, and we are equally excited and delighted to have you on our platform. Uh, we have certain curiosities to start with, and since you have been a veteran into telecom industry, my first curiosity is around the growth of the telecom industry. So, what growth strategies has been most effective in establishing a strong foothold for the telecom industry?
Yeah, I think that's a great question, Pankaj. So before answering that question, let's understand, I think telecom sector and a ecosystem a little bit. So telecom and connectivity is a kind of a lifeline for a modern digital society. So connectivity is like a soul in the body. So just as the soul is essential to give life to a human body, I think connectivity is also same force that powers the modern digital world. So without robust connectivity, our digital world would be like standstill, right? So if there is no connectivity even for a few hours, or for a day, I think that will create a huge impact. Interruption in communication, entertainment, financial transaction. I think many factory will stop. People will go crazy without looking at their mobile. So I think that kind of unimaginable consequences will happen, and that's the importance of this telecom sector. So before answering, I think growth strategies, let's little also understand micro and macro indicators about this sector. I think that will help us understand a little more better our growth strategies. So globally, we have around 5.6 billion subscriber. So which is around 69% of global population have a mobile. So telecom market contribute almost 5.7 trillion dollar as a market share, which is approximately 5% of global GDP. And it employs almost 35 million people. So it's a significant employer of in this sector. And this sector is growing little less. It's growing at just approximately 2% CAGR. So from that perspective, I think globally it's a very, very important sector. Let me deep dive into India. Specifically India, I think we are like third largest telecom market. We last month we touched more than a billion connection, which is I think approximately 85% of our population have a mobile now. Especially in urban area, we are like more than 100%. But in rural areas, still that tele density is a little less. We are approximately touching now $50 billion market with a growth rate of approximately 9%. And just to give you a little more, I think 1 GB data everyone consume per day. So that kind of a disruption is happening, and that kind of a traffic is happening in the mobile world. We also have a very interesting growth story. Like last 4 years, almost $40 billion of foreign investment have come in India, and then out of that, $20 billion just came into Geo, I think, platform. So that kind of attraction and ecosystem is there even in India. So very, very transformational and vibrant ecosystem, and this telecom sector is undergoing a big transformation right now. So now I think coming back to your question of growth strategy. So we have a opportunity still. I think globally just a 65% tele-density, so we still have 35% people still need a digital inclusion, and then they need services. So that is one kind of a growth strategy. Other but very interesting growth strategy is investment in, I think, modernization and a network expansion. So from a 3G to 4G to 5G. So every generation of a transformation add a couple of $1 trillion economic growth. So that kind of growth opportunity is there. And not just a mass market, I think everyone has a mobile, but I think enterprise telecom solutions are a big transformation happening in that sector. So connectivity, cloud, cybersecurity, digital transformation, I think these areas are, I think, a real growth strategy. Another interesting fact towards growth is, especially I'm talking about here India. I think in 10 years back we used to manufacture almost 5 crore mobiles, but now in 2024 33 crore mobiles are manufactured, and we are like this telecom sector is amongst top 5 exporters commodities in this contribution to exports from India. So I think huge growth opportunities in manufacturing sector also I see. Another growth strategy I see is a connected object. So globally, almost 20 billion connected objects are there. In India, almost 3.5 billion connected objects. And I think every connected object need a connectivity some or the other way, and this sector I think growing like anything. Even a fan we want to start through our mobile. So that kind of a connectivity, connected object, IoT development is happening all over world. So from that perspective, I think we have a huge opportunity in connected object and IoT world. Last but not the least, I think we have seen a significant transformation in last 1 year on AI and Gen AI. And through Gen AI, generative AI, the connectivity is the backbone for that data transformation, the analytics, and everything related to Gen AI. So from that perspective, I think is unpredictable growth is happening in the connectivity domain. So from that perspective, I think that area we have to really look at and see how to capitalize the growth. So I think these are very high level growth strategy I think telcos are really looking at.
Krishna, that was deep dive into the the strategy, the growth strategy, primarily into the telecom industry, and you pointed around 5 to 6 different ways through which this growth strategy is going to be implemented. We come to our second curiosity, and which is around sustainability. So seeing the kind of growth we will be having in the telecom industry, how can we drive sustainable business growth? And are there any emerging trends or areas of focus you foresee driving growth?
Yeah, for I think sustainable growth, telecom companies are transforming. I think with a telecom industry need a heavy investment. So with a heavy investment in infrastructure, from cloud, cybersecurity, connectivity, from copper to fiber, and from 3G to 4G to 5G, I think a huge kind of a investment is required. And I think nowadays, I think telcos are very transformative. They are focusing more on infrastructure investment, and then that will help them to grow sustainably into this new transformational world. So I think transformation will come from their value strategy. So what kind of value they are adding to customer, what kind of value they are providing to their employees, what kind of value they are bringing to each and every business, and also value from their infrastructure investment, what kind of value they can create out of the investment they are making. So that will create a sustainable business growth. So let me give you few I think a few example of sectoral example and the use cases where sustainable growth can be possible, and these are just indicative use cases, and there could be many more. So for example, healthcare, so telemedicine, remote monitoring of patient. I think uh, expert from New York can now get consulted in a small village. So that kind of opportunity is there using telecom sector. So we also have another sector which is smart cities infrastructure. So a huge focus everywhere, all over world. I think a lot of focus is there in smart cities. So smart cities are integrated various systems like traffic management, energy distribution, public safety, waste management, and all that need is a connectivity and IoT, especially in the smart city infrastructure. I think education sector, e-learning platform. I think anyone can learn from anywhere. So that kind of a connectivity is transforming that particular sector. We have seen a very big growth in remote work and collaboration. So post COVID, I think everyone started working from home. You can employ anyone from the world for your organization, and then that person is adding value. So from that perspective, I think remote work and collaboration tools have created a huge sustainable opportunity for telecom sector. I can go on and on the applications for a sustainable growth, but a couple of more, I think, financial sector and mobile. So almost 130 billion transaction happens on mobile in a year in India through UPI. So the fintech, the financial services and mobile banking, I think this created a very huge the sustainable growth opportunities for the telcos. Similarly, entertainment and media. Now we have everything in on the streaming happening on mobile. So it created a huge opportunity for telcos. And I have already mentioned the IoT, connected object. Huge opportunity in innovation, especially adding value to industry, especially medium and small sector also can take advantage of digital transformation happening. So overall, I think value strategy, value to customer, value to their employees, value to society, value to business, I think that will drive a sustainable growth for telco. And every telecom is now transforming from a normal telecom company to a technology company. So from that perspective, I think a lot of sustenance will be there.
That's such an important things you covered, Krishna, around the sustainability of businesses, primarily from the telecom segment point of view. Uh, One thing which is important when you talk around the growth and sustainability, and you talk about some of the innovative methods, right away, you know with every leader across the globe, people are asking questions around the employment generation, and this is not only true for India but any country across the globe. This is a true factor. So looking at the diverse market you cater to, how crucial do you consider the adaptation of localization of product or services to generate further employment? And do you see any specific technological advancements that have significantly contributed to the success of telecom industry?
I think a very interesting question. I think the Global Capability Center, which I had employed almost 5,000 people, and we have 1,600 such global capability center which are supporting. So a huge employment generation happening as we speak. But the most important factor is, I think, agility and adoption is really important from a sustenance perspective as well as growth perspective. So a lot of emerging trends are happening, especially from a technology perspective. So 5G, I mentioned Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, edge computing, cyber security. So I think these are the technology trends which are very, very directly linked to telecom sector. So, but if I have to go a little more deeper into technology sector, especially telecom sector, so virtualization of a network and software defined network, which are, I think, a new technology trend happening. So earlier, if you need to take advantage of digital transformation, you need to invest into data center, you need a very big pipe connectivity. So all that huge investment was required. But now I think with a software defined network or a network as a service, infrastructure as a service, or a communication platform as a service, I think these type of new technology advancement creating a very easy, simple to use solution for a small to large businesses. So I think that is a very big technology advancement is happening. So now it's not a hardware driven technology, it's a more software driven technology. You just plug and play whatever connectivity you need, what kind of storage you need, how many applications you want to host on a platform, on your data center, which you are managing on cloud. So huge transformation is happening on those areas. Second, I think important thing, technological advancement is content delivery network. So I think a huge demand for streaming videos. So a very specific content delivery networks are getting created, and you can see a very seamless acceptability of whatever you want to promote, whatever you want to see is happening. Another area, I think, digital workforce and remote collaboration solutions. So that's where we have very simplified tools available. You can work from anywhere. You can use those platforms for community connect. Your office infrastructure, you don't need that many big offices. So I think that's what a big transformation is also happening, especially on a technology front. Another big thing is a digital twin. So in our industry, we are able to give a infrastructure which is like you can simulate your business transformation on that particular digital twin and then see the outcome. And then if you are able to predict how many customers I'm going to get and all that, and then you implement in real environment. So digital twin is helping, and that's what I think a new concept which is helping tremendously to industry. And I think I mentioned many other technology trends on AI, Gen AI, energy efficient management, I think sustainability, green solutions on data centers. So many, I think, technology advancements are happening. So overall, I think even location based services. So now cookies are there, and then the marketers across industry are using those cookies and targeting kind of customers. Location based services, mobile operators have a gold mine of data. They know your habits, they know your behavior, they know your preferences. I think all those things are adding a lot of value to create opportunities, and obviously to create a good society. So from that perspective, I think it's this technology advancement is helping a lot to this industry.
That's so wonderfully answered from you, Krishna, around the employability and the employment factors, not only in India but across the globe, and how telecom sector is contributed to it. Ca- can we now move on to our specially curated flip round? One question coming to you has to be answered by me in 30 seconds time.
Yeah, I think the question is, in your consulting world, how do you stay ahead of industry trends? And in ensure that you become so competitive that people want to just work with you?
Uh, Krishna, I think that's a very important question because nowadays it's very important for the consulting firms to stay ahead of the curve, primarily from industry point of view. Because disruption is not only internal or external, disruption is also unknown. So maybe
Right.
a research happening in any of the geography of the world can be intertwined with another disruption. Maybe a startup is doing, and altogether entire ecosystem of a business changes. Altogether, the pricing of your services changes altogether. So it's important for a consulting firm to understand, where the researches are happening, what are the transformations or disruptions which are happening across different geographies of the world, and how this is going to impact businesses for that matter. So I think this knowledge will definitely help you stay ahead of the curve, and I think this is something which helps VYAPT in terms of dealing with the client not only in India but across geographies wherever we work.
Thanks a lot.
So thank you so much for this question, Krishna. And I move on to our next round, which we call it as learning on the go. Nothing business around it. So we had a lot of questions around business, but this question is something in person to you. Uh, can you narrate an incident that has been a source of incredible learning for you?
Okay, incident. Okay, let me think. Okay, so I think I'm from a very small village. Initial part of my schooling happened first 15 years of my life I spent in a very small village, and then last 30 years I'm in Mumbai. Uh, so my father is a farmer, and he did farming till age of 80 years, and he was suffering from cancer, and then one day he asked me that why don't you take little interest in farming. Initial period, I think I was little hesitant because 30 years in Mumbai and going back, spending some time. I think he wanted me to really take over his legacy of farming. So I avoided initial few years, but I think then I realized that I need to definitely go and do something, take little interest, and then I started taking. I think 5 6 years back I started taking interest, and then he used to send me a lot of videos on modern farming, and then he asked me to attend one kind of 15 days training in Pune, which I did because he wanted me to learn little more advanced farming. So I think that was a trigger point. And then I started going to my hometown every once in a quarter, maybe sometime weekends, and invested last few years. And then I learned so many things, and then when I correlate that and then adopt those learning to my office here in Global Community Center with 5,000 people, I think I can say it's a amazing experience. So what I learned is, I think, get your hands dirty, jump, and then get involved. That's what you do in farming. Go put little more attention to details. So I think that's what I learned there, and then I now try to see how I implement it here, and then I see a amazing result. Even little more involvement creates a big impact. Second, I think important things I learned patience and little more long-term approach. So when you grow something, I think you need to have patience. So that way, and then you think a little big that what will happen. So from that perspective, I think a lot of learning and a lot of unexpected things happens. Similarly, I think in our environment, in office also, nowadays things are so unpredictable. So from that perspective, I think you are really well prepared. And whenever you go to farm, it's a lifelong learning. You really see new things, new innovation, new type of plant. Many things happens there. So I think it gives a very different kind of a learning. And one interesting thing, I think one seed, one small seed have potential to make entire earth green. Huh? That kind of small tiny seed has that kind of potential. So similarly, I think I learned that human also have that kind of potential. It's not just a resource that you can get a limited things from that resource, but you have opportunity to extract a tremendous things from that particular resource. So I think these kind of learning really helped me. And when you go to farm, I think you realize time has stopped, and then you start thinking, you start analyzing many more things, and then you forget everything. So I think that kind of stress buster, once in a quarter, once in a few months, I try and then go and then get more energetic, and then come back to office and implement. So I think that was a great thing, great gift my father has given me, and I'm really grateful for that.
Krishna, this is for the first time interviewing 180 plus leaders by now. Wherein a corporate person is actually talking around farming and how it is actually helping him do business better. And I think this clip is going to go viral because people generally think that we have to go from farming to business or into corporate, but this is something reversal and actually helping you to get more productive. And the incident which you shared, it also talks about how important it is to get to the roots so as to get a lot of learnings from that, and probably we can implement it in our corporate lives as well.
Yeah, I think true, very true.